Greetings, my delicious viewers, and welcome to Fandom Collective 1138. It is I, Thanos, your Mad Titan. And tonight, I'm going to lay an epic smackdown upon the anti-trekker. Not because he criticizes The Last Jedi, but because he criticizes it poorly. Let me show you an example.
Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trekker here, and I want to, as always, of course, say thank you so much for watching my channel. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it to all of you, not just my Patreon supporters, but every single one of you. Thank you. And
He almost starts out almost every video of his with these incredibly long, boring introductions where he just slobs on the knob of his viewers and his patrons. I mean, I get it and all. I love having viewers as much as anybody. But you must realize that I am the Mad Titan Thanos, and you are beneath me, and I do not need to go down upon my knees in order to beg for your further patronage. Plus, I don't have a Patreon page and don't really intend on doing that, at least not at any time soon. Let us continue.
I want to give a quick apology today, and it's actually just that this video is going to be a little on the short side for me. I'm really only delving into one
Oh, thank God, a short video.
Scene in the movie, and the reason for that is, quite frankly, I got a lot of stuff going on right now. My 50th birthday is coming up in a couple of days, and so got some preparations to do for that. So time.
This fellow is quite the e-beggar. I can't help but wonder if him dropping his upcoming 50th anniversary of being born upon your pathetic little wretched planet is some way of encouraging more people to shell out some dough on his live streams or by adding to his Patreon.
Is just crunched to the extreme. I'm going to try to get some longer videos up for the next couple of days, and if I can squeeze out some time tonight, I may actually do a live stream, which by the time you see this, the live stream would have been last night. So yeah, there's that. So we'll see. But I it's not that I'm slacking off or anything.
This is too long and boring. It's really appropriate that he has a piece of shit for an avatar. Anyway, on with the show.
Last Jedi.
There we go. Nope. Another reason not to do Patreon. I won't have to put anyone's names all over my videos. Oh, very cute.
So I want to give a quick shout out to Pedro 8675309.
Good Lord.
Jeez, Pedro.
Oh, this video is only 10 minutes long and he's already wasted this much time.
75,308 other Pedros on YouTube. No, I'm just playing dumb. I know it's a stupid song. Anyway, Pedro pointed out something that I did not notice, and that is the fact.
Don't really care about what you have to say about Pedro, blah, blah, blah.
Pedro pointed out something that I did not notice, and that is the fact that Rey, who is from a desert planet, somehow can swim. Where did she learn to swim? So
right here, this is the real dark side of nerds, especially Star Trek nerds. They're such incredible nitpickers. Look, yes, Rey is from a desert planet, and I'm hardly the biggest fan of Rey. However, that being said, the ability to swim is rather innate to human beings. I mean, maybe not masterful, super good swimming, but you can throw a baby in the water and it'll figure it out most of the damn time. I mean, the love of God.
Yeah, suck on that, Ryan Johnson.
Already deducting points like it really matters.
Johnson. I gotta love that name. Last time on the Anti-Trekker, Leia got better, Luke got even more cowardly, and Rey got to first base with Kylo. With Rey, Chewbacca, R2-D2, and a small flock of porgs leaving Ahch-To, we can say, wow, that was definitely not like the whole Dagobah thing in Empire Strikes Back. After all, in Empire, it felt like Luke actually learned something from Yoda. So now Rey is gone, and Luke decides that it is time to destroy the Jedi Temple, along with the ancient Jedi text and all the knowledge that is contained within them. Oh, hold on a minute. If Luke wanted the Jedi to end and he didn't want to train any more Jedi ever, Why did he wait until now, after he gave the 2 out of 3 required lessons to train a Jedi to Rey? Why not just burn down the tree like 6 years ago and then retire to Miami? I mean, seriously, what was the delay?
Well, obviously he wasn't sure about it and was having trouble letting go of such a monumental thing. It's not like letting go even of your own personal possessions. You're acting on behalf of the entire galaxy to let go of the legacy of the Jedi. And that's a big step. Maybe Rey showing up on his doorstep and disturbing things finally prompted him to say, fuck it, I'm not going through this again, and he's just going to finally put an end to it. Then he still hesitates.
So Yoda shows up for reasons, the Force, and Luke turns to...
What? Yes, Yoda is there because of the Force. He's a Force ghost. Duh. Oy vey.
Yoda and defiantly declares that he's going to put an end to the Jedi once and for all, and then he goes to burn down the old tree. Yoda sees Luke's intentions in conflict and helps Luke to restore his faith. Stops Luke from destroying the knowledge that could possibly save the galaxy. Burns down the tree for Luke when he hesitates. Wait, what? This is...
Yeah, Yoda is on a higher level of existence, and he's trying to, tell Luke that none of this shit matters. So, yeah. I think part of the problem people had with Luke Skywalker in this movie is he's not a samurai. Most of the Jedi are portrayed kind of in the samurai archetype. Even Yoda right here, in his younger days, quote-unquote younger, during the prequel movies, he was still a samurai character, even though much more of the older, wizened general doesn't fight as much, but has all the knowledge and training and all that kind of stuff. But when Luke meets Yoda on Dagobah, Yoda had kind of, I guess, gone crazy maybe in isolation, and he'd become something more of what I would call a Taoist monk archetype, more mercurial, a little bit more silly seeming on the outside as a way of disarming you. And it's kind of appropriate then that his student Luke, who was much more of his student than Obi-Wan ever was. I mean, apparently Obi-Wan just attended some of his little youngling classes that Yoda held for an hour a day with everyone. And he wasn't like his personal Padawan, and Luke had a lot more hands-on training, even if it was only a few weeks worth. And so for Luke to have grown up and also fallen into that Taoist, contemplative, isolated on a mountain kind of archetype, that doesn't surprise me at all, but let's continue.
Yoda, right? I mean, the Jedi Master who was training Padawans for 800 years before he even trained Luke and died. The one person who personifies all that is good about the Jedi, and he's just like, fuck it, sometimes you must say. And also...
Exactly how a Taoist monk would be.
If Yoda can bring down massive lightning strikes from the Force after he died, why couldn't Obi-Wan help Luke in Empire Strikes Back? And why can't Yoda right now go to Snoke's ship and just take them all down? And
because they're now living in a higher order of existence. Luke isn't dead. Yoda isn't dead. Obi-Wan isn't dead. If it was somewhat of a result, perhaps, of the editing and the special effects at the time, but if you watch A New Hope, the instant before Darth Vader's lightsaber hits Obi-Wan Kenobi, his clothes are already empty. He discorporated himself willingly. You see him stop, he closes his eyes, he focuses, and the very next instant you see him, you just see empty clothes right as the lightsaber swings into them. Luke didn't pant and clutch his heart and fall back and die and then fade away. He stopped, he closed his eyes, he had a very nice Zen moment, and then he discorporated. Yoda was the closest to seeming like an actual death scene, but I think the thing is that Yoda's body was already failing and should have already died, and he had been just using his willpower to keep himself alive just barely long enough to get his last few words out to Luke, just waiting for Luke to come back. But they all willingly discorporated, transmutated, ascended. I don't know if any of you have seen the Stargate television series. one of the themes they had, and that is that there's these ancients, and that the ancients were a pre-human human kind of a thing. And at one point, they all collectively attained enlightenment and became energy beings. And part of being energy beings is they kind of hold themselves above the material plane and material concerns, trying to maintain a cosmic balance. And they're very particular about how they interfere with things. Obi-Wan Kenobi actively helping Luke Skywalker in the rebellion with lightning bolts at proper times would have been interfering with mortal events in a way that Yoda blasting a tree in front of Luke alone on this Jedi island after Rey has left is not going to have those same kind of repercussions, especially since then the real trick here is that Yoda, by this point, had already apported the books out of the tree and into the Millennium Falcon. I do not believe Rey did that. I believe Yoda did that. At least that's the impression I was given when I left the movie.
Before you say crap like,
Yoda is now an agent of the Force and must do the will of the Force.
why is the Force willing to take down a tree that Luke didn't feel like burning? A tree that later we'll find out is meaningless.
I think I explained all this.
Unwilling to act in things that actually matter. I mean, that would be like if you went to the Bible and God went to Moses and made him a nice steak dinner, but would not free the Jews from Egypt because he was just too busy. Anyway, Yoda,
I don't even get that. Okay.
Skywalker, Mr. Arrive.
Hold on. So Yoda burns down the tree and gets all giddy about it while Luke tries to run into the fire to save the Jedi text.
Yes, because Luke was still attached to it. That's why he didn't burn the tree down when he first got to the island all those years before. And that's why he had hesitated over doing it and was hesitating again and was not going to carry through. And Yoda destroyed the tree to force him to finally move past it, kind of a thing. And now he's amused that Luke's all upset and doesn't know what to do with himself. It all makes perfect sense.
That he was about to destroy? What the... Understand Yoda, Luke, or Star Wars in general, except for the most superficial of ways. Just because Yoda laughed a bit at the beginning of his interactions with Luke in Empire Strikes Back does not mean that his character is defined as someone who always laughs. Just because Luke made a wrong choice in going after Vader in Empire Strikes Back does not mean that every choice Luke makes should be the wrong choice. And just because we saw a Force user in the past use lightning does not mean that... You know what? You, Rian Johnson.
Wait a minute. The Bendu in Rebels was also able to create lightning storms and stuff like that. There's nothing to indicate that lightning is purely a dark side thing. It's just something that Palpatine in particular had a flair for. And he had taught it to Sidious. To Tyrannus. They never bothered teaching it to Vader, though.
So Luke and Ghost Yoda talk about how it is time for the Jedi to end. Because, reasons. And Luke yells at Yoda because of the loss of the sacred text. And Luke, of course, is right to be upset that Yoda burnt the text that Luke was about to...
If these texts were so essential, then why weren't they at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant where people could actually see them and read them? These were just some old, crusty Dead Sea Scrolls of the Star Wars universe, basically. And, yeah.
Burn? Huh? Why is Luke upset?
Time it is. For you to look at the pile of books. The sacred Jedi texts. Ooh, read them, have you? Well,
Yes, the sacred Jedi texts that were so important they were brought up time after time in all the other Star Wars movies. No, they weren't. This is the very first time we're hearing about them. Get over it, Luke.
So let me get this straight. First of all, Luke, the last surviving Jedi, who has been living in exile for years on this planet with nothing to do but Yoda because of the loss of the sacred text. And Luke, of course, is right to be upset that Yoda burnt the text. The last surviving Jedi, who has been living in exile for years on this planet with nothing to do but read these books, has not read the books. And Yoda says that while the books contain wisdom, there is nothing they have that Rey does not
They're
already
thousands of
have.
years old. Maybe he doesn't know the language they're written in. They're not electronic.
That the girl Rey does not already possess.
Think about that for a minute. So it's official. Rey with 2 lessons.
No,
Jedi.
he's already hinting that she has the books. He's just being coy about it and not spelling things out for either Luke or the audience.
I master. You, Rian Johnson. Now,
Super
some
mature.
of you may be thinking,
But wait, Master Yoda was just referring to the fact that Rey has the books on the Falcon already.
okay, so if that's the case, we'll remove the points, but then add 2 points for Yoda being a liar and 2 more points for Rey being a thief. You know, like a Jedi. Please.
Except she's not a thief. Yoda moved the books. Yoda moved the books. It's all very obvious to me. I don't know why no one sees that.
Please tell me, based on what we have seen in this film, what about the Jedi is good? I mean, at all. Maybe just a little wisdom from Yoda will help.
Skywalker. Still looking to the horizon. There, here, pop. The knee in front of your nose.
What? Huh? Okay, let me say, there are 2 main issues I have here. One is that Yoda, the most wise sage of all of Star Wars, is now just plain stupid when he pokes at Luke and says that he's still looking away at the horizon. Huh? Luke is not looking at anything. He's not looking to the horizon. If anything, Yoda should have said something like,
For the love of God. Look. Long Avale watched this one, as he looked away to the horizon, never his mind on where he was, what he was doing. It's kind of poetic. But yes, Luke is not focusing on what's going on really in front of him. He's worrying about all these galactic repercussions, about allowing the Jedi to stay alive or allowing the Jedi to go extinct. It's kind of out of his hands in reality. And he should be dealing with the fact that he's got friends and family who are in trouble. And instead he's farting away on this island, worrying about gigantic ancient institutions that even if he got rid of the books and killed all the Jedi, there's going to be other information about the Jedi out there in the galaxy on computer disk or something somewhere. And people are still going to be able to figure out how to use the Force. And eventually there will be something that at least calls itself the Jedi, even if they're not directly attached to the original Jedi in lineage, and they don't have those original texts. It doesn't matter. You can still call yourself Jedi. Anyway, is there anything else this guy has to say?
When I met you, I did. You always look to the horizon, but now your eyes you have closed.
again, Disney, if you need a writer for episode 9, I am available. So
Yeah, no, don't
now,
hire this guy, Disney. That would be a bad idea.
We have what they grow beyond. That is the true burden of all masters.
Well, we are what they grow beyond. In other words, Rian Johnson is directly stating in his writing that the characters are better than the classics. That Rey, Kylo, Finn, and Poe are as...
What? That's not at all. I don't know why I like watching this guy's videos, because he's wrong and is like not only hyper nitpicky, but like obtusely misinterpreting things and just putting stuff. He's another prime example of the people who view things with filters on and come away with it confirming everything that their filters put there. Well, anyway, good night, everyone. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button.